Boda, good morning everyone. Croeso and welcome to the Learning Disability Wales Annual Conference 2024. My name is Richie Horrigan and I will be chairing for this conference today. A bit about myself, I work for Learning Disability, got that wrong. I work for Innovate Trust. I'll be on the second one. I do 3 hours a week. Within that, say per month, I do a relationship group, a policy group, and I train new members of staff on teams to go into go into Innovate Housing, and the tenants by Innovate is First Choice Housing. Talking about First Choice, I'm on the Tenants Board Committee, and I go up to the office every twice a month to chair a meeting, I would say now, and sometimes they say, "Oh, Richie, you are able to do a to do interviews." And they pay me wisely in food. So I'm grateful within that opportunity. So that's two opportunities I had in lockdown, during lockdown. And the third one is I occasionally volunteer for a scheme called Gig Buddies. I don't know if you heard of them. One person has. And within that, with Kai, I go to places and to tell people what Gig Buddies is about, and to get Gig Buddies and a place in Swansea or a place in Cardiff or around Wales to get a relationship going, so they can start building friendships and places for people like myself and others to go for evening out. And I have a good buddy called Mark. Within those 4 years, we both won. Our first outing was we both won bingo at the same time. And I took him to his first Royal Rumble, and I didn't go home until 5:30 in the morning. No, 8:30. Yeah, and I love gigs, local gigs. And last year I went to, where's Nigel Bowen when you need him? I went to 23 gigs, not 100, Nigel. And I thought this year I'll do 52. Not shocked at the system there by some people. So at the moment, anybody else but not learning disability Wales, guess the amount. 20. Try 60. Yeah, and I'll see this. My favourite band is Panic Shack before somebody edits me up. So that's a bit about myself. Today, a day in my life, we will be looking what people do and how they get to make choices and have control over what they do. We have speakers, films and workshops. You will have a delicate pack that tells you everything that is going on and what workshops you are booked on. If you have not booked your workshops, please go to reception, act the break, make your choices. If you have any problems during the day, please speak to a member of our staff, our learning disability team, they'll be wearing their buttons, waistcoats, red coats. Now, they'll be wearing the red t-shirts. I'm not getting paid for this. As they're wearing the red t-shirts. Before we start, I need to let you know a few things. The toilets are by the teas and coffees areas. I'm the chair and there's no seats. There you go. Please turn the toilets are by the tea and coffees where you came in on this floor. Please turn your phones to silent or off. Please do not use flash photography. We are filming and taking photos today. If you do not want to be in these, please tell someone from Learning Disability Wales. There is a quiet room in the pulse room, just off the exhibition areas. Use it whenever you need. If you are tweeting today, please use hashtag a day in my life, like is on the screen behind me. I would like to say a special thank you to our organisations and that have sponsored our conference today. Pobl and Drive have both supported Learning Disability Wales for many years, and we enjoy working together with them. So thank you, Pobl and Drive, for your support. Now I would like to invite Zoe Richards, CEO of Learning Disability Wales, on the stage to say a few words.
Thank you, Richard. Bore da, good morning, croeso, welcome. We began our conference series, that sounds grand, last week up in North Wales. It's just last week and this week. And I opened that conference by saying how chill the vibe was up in North Wales compared to some of our conferences in South Wales. So the challenge for you today is to chill out a bit. Yeah? Less corporate, less stiff. Yeah? Just enjoy yourselves. So our conferences. Our conferences are a chance in Wales for us to connect with each other. A chance for us to share the work that happens in Wales in the learning disability community, and also a chance to celebrate some of the work that happens in Wales also. I've got a few jobs today, but they're mostly boring jobs because Richard is chairing so wonderfully. Richard has been to 60 gigs this year. I count this as a gig now at my time in life. You know, this is as exciting as it gets. I've got a niece who's quite big on the gig scene, and she posts photos on Instagram of all the gigs she goes to. And I cannot stop seeing the back of Richie's head in her photos. They don't know each other. She's from Merthyr Tydfil, Richie's from Cardiff, and they're going to gigs, and all I see is the back of your head in all of my niece's photos. So turn around a few times if you see someone taking photos in a gig, and we'll see your face. Just to let you know that outside we have a change-in-place facility, mobile change-in-place facility, so if you ask one of the team in red T-shirts, they'll guide you towards that. Last week we were in North Wales and we were wearing the red T-shirts last Wednesday morning, so I did have to give a warning that we weren't affiliated to any particular American political party. So the reference to Butlins is much nicer today. If you haven't registered your cars, make sure that you give the registration number to the Learning Disability Wales registration, not the one downstairs. If you go to the registration desk, and make sure that you give them your car registration number so that you don't get a ticket in a few days' time. Okay, so we are launching the annual report at the conferences. We've got our annual report here, and you can grab yours from the back table there with Sam. And very briefly, to share some of the stories that appear in there. The front cover this year, we have Tegan and Georgia, two of the young people that we supported to be part of Welsh Youth Parliament. And that was a starting point for them to become advocates for themselves and for other disabled young people. Tegan, just a month ago, was part of the UN youth group that went out to New Zealand to talk about what matters to young disabled people. And wonderfully, Georgia was elected to our board at Learning Disability Wales, and Georgia's with us today. So a huge congratulations to the two young people who started their journey. And a warm welcome to Georgia. A warm welcome to our trustees as well today, and to Tracy for our first South Wales conference, and to John, our outgoing chair from last year, who's joining us today. So a warm welcome. We're here today to talk about a day in my life and what that looks like, what it can look like, what it's looked like since the pandemic, and how we can plan to have really important opportunities during the day and evening. I must plug the evening as well, because some people don't like going anywhere in the day. They prefer to do something in the evening. So you'll hear from speakers today about employment, about co-producing, making your own way in what you do, and being part of the planning team. So we've got a whole host of things going on today that you can get involved in, learn about, or share your experiences with other people as well. So, with no further ado, I'm going to hand back to Richard, who's going to introduce the next section. But just before I do, as part of the conference theme of A Day in My Life, Learning Disability Wales are launching a network of providers of day services, so that we will ensure that the voice of day service providers is heard within the learning disability community, and within with changemakers as well. So if you are interested in becoming part of that network, please do see Sam at the back, who is taking notes of people's interest in that, and we'll be in touch very soon. We'll probably meet about 4 times during the year, and we'll talk about the themes that are emerging, the challenges, and also the sharing of the great things that are happening as well. So thank you very much. Have a great conference, and I'll hand you back to Richie.
Thank you, Zoe. We are now going to hear from Cardiff Council and how they are supporting people to have choices and control in their life with person-centred planning. Sounds like my job. So please say hello to Kieran, Emma and John.
I'm going first. I'll let the others sit down. My name's Emma. I'm a social worker, and I'm the lead manager for Cardiff Council Learning Disability Services. There's a range of services in Cardiff supporting people to find good day opportunities, but we're here today to tell you about our day service for people with the most complex needs. We've been working on this service for about 20 years. We realised that while we had good services in Cardiff, we didn't have the right services for people who needed the most support, and that was really, really difficult for them and their families. So we talked to local people and we asked them what they wanted, and that resulted in us changing our day service. So it now focuses on people with the most complex needs who want to live at home with their families. Although it's called a day service, most of the people don't spend their time in the service anymore. They're mainly out in the community, but there's a base there for when people need it. Over the last 20 years, I guess we've carried on learning from local people, and work to develop our day service and keep developing. So we've done a lot around least restrictive practice and giving people as much choice as possible. And we've also developed a transition day service for young people with complex needs. We were finding that people were struggling when they were leaving school. So now our service goes into school and works with people with the highest needs to work out what a good adult life looks like and supports them to make a plan. And some of them come to our service and some of them go elsewhere. We wanted to talk to you about this service today, really, because we're hugely proud of it, because the people who go to it and their families have told us it's excellent and it's making a difference to their lives. So we've got a film. We're not going to do lots of talking, honestly. We've got a film to tell you about it, and then we're going to tell you 3 stories. John, who's going to come over in a minute after the film, is a senior day service officer who was really involved in all the changes to the day service. He's going to tell you about Cameron and Lucy's stories, because they can't be here today. And then Kieran is going to show you a film all about his experience at the day service. So you can hear it from himself, what he thinks about it. Now I'm going to try and make the film work. Oh, can you do that? Oh, excellent. Okay.
The Complex Day Service is a specialist day service funded by Cardiff Council. The service provides support to people with complex needs which might otherwise be difficult to meet, including individuals with autism, people with profound and multiple learning disabilities, and people requiring positive behaviour support. Individuals with complex health needs that could be met by a social care team, individuals with a learning disability on the dementia pathway. The service works with individuals and their families or carers to co-produce an outcome-led, person-centred plan that is regularly reviewed and updated. Individuals each have a named link worker who plans the service and support based on person-centred approaches. The link worker also monitors and reviews all aspects of the service regularly. Individuals will have a small core support team who are specially trained to meet assessed needs and provide quality support. We can support people to access volunteering opportunities, sports and leisure opportunities, arts and craft opportunities, and to gain skills in independent living. The day service is built on the foundations of being part of a community, making friends, increasing choice, building skills, being respected. Access to the day service is via a social work referral. Most of us want to have control over our lives and to live as independently as possible, but sometimes we need the right support to do this. At Cardiff Complex Needs Day Service, we are committed to offering just the right help, planning and support to assist people to live life at its fullest.
That's kind of an overview, and now John is going to tell you some people's actual stories. Can you hear okay at the back? Brilliant. Okay, hands over. This is for you.
This is for me. I hope it works. Thanks a lot. Yeah, what a gorgeous day. And I was listening to Richie talk there earlier. I've not met Richie before, but just something you'd understand following you, Richie. It's a bit like coming up here after watching following the Rolling Stones. So you set the bar pretty high. So thanks for that. Okay. As Emma said, I'm going to tell the story just of a couple of people who joined day services within the last few years. This fantastic chap here, this is Cameron. He joined day services in September 2021, which most of us will remember. We mentioned COVID earlier. This is right in the peak of COVID. It was a difficult time to do a transition. But Cameron was referred to the Day Service Transition Project in his final year of school. So despite COVID restrictions, he completed a very exhaustive and individualised transition from Teigwyn School through the State Service Transition Team. As you can see there, Cameron loves technology. I mean, he really loves technology. He's like Bill Gates. He particularly likes screens, tablets, but this was a really constant need to use technology. And in truth, it was denying him wider social and learning opportunities, and it was causing some behaviours of concern. Cameron's mother explained to us that for 16 years, Cameron refused to wear enclosed footwear. He did not use cutlery and did not eat with his family. So that was obviously causing them some issues as they try to get on with, living a good day in a usual life in evenings and weekends. Day Services put together a team with specific experience around working with people with autism spectrum condition and behaviours of concern. And we did some additional training, which was designed around skills teaching, active support, and looking at very specific communication systems. Cameron is non-verbal. Initially, we focused on introducing structure to Cameron's day, using visual schedules, timers, and strategic planners. This was to help Cameron do some things he wanted to do and some things, quite frankly, that he didn't really want to do. We recognised that introducing structure required us to agree several restrictions on Cameron to encourage him to engage with the process. And it was also necessary to prescribe some physical interventions. Sometimes Cameron needed our help to keep himself and others safe. Over time, Cameron became familiar with the structure of his day, using timers and things like that. He could sit down and do activities. And he actually seemed to be enjoying it in the end. He became more relaxed and was able to focus on activities which didn't involve technology, which was massive for Cameron. He became more engaged in learning new skills through formal skills teaching and active support approaches. And these skills became transferable. So as we talked about earlier, as Emma mentioned, we do have buildings, and initially a lot of Cameron's service was within a building. As you can see here, we transferred this outside of buildings. Cameron now fully engages in a wide variety of activities. He makes the most of each day, continuing to learn new skills and explore new opportunities. He's gone from that chap that didn't want to leave his house, didn't want to leave tablets, didn't want to wear shoes. We take Cameron out now. He uses a payment card, goes in pubs, buys himself a meal, sits with us and eats. This is something his family can now do with him as well. So massive outcomes. So Cameron's reliance on technology is now managed, allowing him to engage in a more meaningful life. Cameron now wears enclosed shoes where necessary, allowing him to go bowling. And if you think you couldn't go bowling if you wouldn't wear shoes, they won't let you. Cameron now uses cutlery, he eats a wide variety of food and sits with others in pubs and restaurants. He's been out with his family to eat on weekends. Cameron shops locally for ingredients and cooks and prepares his own meals. Cameron's use of visual communication tools has developed greatly, allowing Cameron to express his choices and preferences rather than relying on his behaviour to do so. So that was Cameron. This is Lucy, who only joined us 12 months ago. So this is Lucy's transition story from Teigwyn to Complex Needs Day Service. So Lucy left Teigwyn in July 2023, so yeah, just over a year ago. We did keep in touch days over the summer, and Lucy started the day service in September. When we first got to know Lucy, she did present with some challenging behaviours. And Mum stated that during the transition, I felt the complex needs day service were not fazed by Lucy's behaviour. The positive attitude taken with regards to Lucy's complex needs and challenging behaviour was a huge relief to us. So we spent time getting to know Lucy in school, and that really helped a smooth transition. When we were getting to know Lucy, we looked at what she liked, what she disliked, and very importantly, what was important both to and for Lucy. So using person-centred approaches there, what she wanted and what people felt they wanted for her. This helped us to create a person-centred plan tailored to Lucy's needs. In the beginning, there were lots of behavioural incidents, and there really were lots of behavioural incidents. And staff were having to use physical interventions to keep Lucy safe. Staff used a consistent approach, and Lucy started building trust and relationships. And as we know, friendships, trust, and relationships, they really are the key to helping people. Lucy learnt what was expected of her and could use her communication to tell us things. And staff would listen and respond appropriately. And the more we understood Lucy, the more we knew what she wanted, the less often Lucy had to rely on behaviour. As a result, the use of behaviour incidents and the need for physical restrictive interventions decreased. So where's Lucy now? Well, she's now actually in Cardiff, but Lucy's life has improved since starting day service. She's lots of opportunities to engage in activities she enjoys, and she does swimming, trampolining, Zumba. So it really does engage in community-based activities. Lucy's communication has dramatically improved. Lucy works with a core support team who know her really, really well. She's got a great support team who are consistent. They go the extra mile for Lucy, and that trust is really built. This has helped Lucy to feel safe, and she knows she'll be listened to. Mum said Lucy's happy, and this makes life so much easier for us. Watching her face light up when she sees a support worker arrive each morning and listening to her giggles coming home each afternoon means so much to us. Positive impact. Lucy now has an improved home life, improved communication skills, and behavioural incidents have genuinely decreased. Lucy is working towards her outcomes, which are to increase her community presence, build relationships and friendships, and improve life skills. And it is sometimes challenging, but Lucy is spending more and more time just out where we all want to go, doing all the things that we all want to do. Mum said, although Lucy has only been with the day service for 7 months, she said that 6 months ago, Lucy is thriving. The approaches used by the day service have made a huge difference for Lucy. And she also said that there is life after school. Unlike other providers, day services are willing to listen and will create an individual plan with you. They don't say this is what we do, what do you want? They say this is what we can do, what does your child need? Day services don't try to put your child into a box they don't fit in. And that's Lucy's story, but we've got one more person that I'm not going to tell you about. He's going to come up here and introduce himself. I said earlier to Cameron, I said, let's see how far today we can get through without using your brakes. I was joking, Cameron, so.
Ready?
Are we ready? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kieran. Thank you. Thank you for.
But we said we wanted it light and relaxed, didn't we? So he's just following instruction.
Thank you for coming today. I hope you enjoy my film. My name is Kieran Henderson. I come to day services in Cardiff.
What did Kieran do before day services?
He was just college. He was 4 days a week college.
So what did you do in college?
Maths, writing, computer work.
And then there's nothing else around until Steve from Social Services, the support planner, introduced us to day services.
Who told you about the day services?
Steve,
Yeah, so Steve.
support planner.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so he told you and Mum about the day services, yeah? So that's how you found out about
Yeah.
this. What were your worries about Kieran coming into the service?
The change for Kieran, because Kieran likes structure and continuity. Going into something completely different, didn't know whether or not he would adapt, didn't know whether or not he would be happy with not being in a structured sort of environment.
Before you came into day services, Kieran, yeah, how did you feel about coming into day services?
Bit nervous.
Yeah, a bit nervous, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you feel about day services?
I love them, and so does Kieran. When he goes through that door in the morning, I know that I haven't got to worry all day long about him. He's well taken care of. I know that I've got no problems whatsoever. I know that I can trust each and every member of staff that is with Kieran. I know that he's enjoying himself. I know that he's happy, and I know that his choices get taken into consideration and into account. Day services will introduce new things and try and get him to do new things.
So now you're in day services, what do you think about day services?
Really good.
Yeah, so really good. So what do you enjoy about day services?
I'm getting on really well with Matthew.
Yeah, so Matthew?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of your friends?
Yeah.
So what do you do with Matthew? What things do you do?
Cycling,
Yeah?
boccia,
Yeah?
football,
Yeah?
filming.
Yeah, filmmaking with Matthew, don't you?
Yeah.
At Oldwell, yeah?
I really want to try do swimming.
So what do you hope for the future for Kieran?
That he continues to stay happy with what he's doing, and hopefully more opportunities in day services will open up for him. Hopefully he'll be able to get more days in the service so that he's actually doing what he wants to do.
What do you like about your life now, Kieran?
Really good.
Yes?
Yeah.
You're really happy at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah? Is there anything you'd like to happen to make your life better or more happy?
Actually, I need to ask one question now.
Go ahead, Key.
I need one more day.
You'd like to come in more days, would you?
Yes.
That's what would like to happen in the future as
Yeah.
well? Yeah? Okay, brilliant. Okay, lovely.
Since that film, Cameron did get one more day. Thank you.
Well, you can do that tomorrow. Thank you, Emma, Kieran and John. Now we're going to be joined by Dementia Drive, one of our sponsors, and Swansea University Hospital Board. They are going to be talking about their approaches to reducing restrictive practices to make sure people have the freedom, no Robbie Williams strokes, and choices they deserve. Please welcome Lisa, Michael, Joe and Amanda.
Hi everyone. So I'm Mandy. I work for Swansea Bay University Health Board. Do you want me to speak to that?
I'm Zoe and I'm from Drive Wales. And we're using my kind Joe from Drive. Don't need one.
I'm Lisa from Dimensions, and it's Mike and Joe who are really busy working hard at Stars that are helping us.
So we're just giving everyone out some paddles. So we're going to talk to you a little bit today about restrictive practices. We haven't got a very long presentation. So restrictive practices are making you do something that you don't want to do, or stopping you from doing something that you do want to do. Sometimes it's easy to see when these practices are used, but other times it's not very easy to see. They're really, really subtle. So these are some examples of what it looks like when they're really hard to see. So things like having the same rules as everyone else, even if the person doesn't need this. So things like making people go to bed at the same time, not letting people have certain items, turning Wi-Fi off at certain times, things like needing to be in the house at certain times, so having to leave like gigs or having to leave, social events early. And then everyone having to eat at the same time, even though sometimes people might not want to. Other times it can look like putting pressure on someone or shouting at them to do something you want them to do. Or again, to stop them from doing something that they want to do. So things like threatening to not take them out or not let them go out. Things like making them feel stupid for doing something that they like, taking something away from them or threatening to take something away from them, or being with them all the time so that they feel that they can't speak freely. So there are some really important rules around these restrictions and restraints. So they must never be used to punish someone or to embarrass them or to make them look bad. They must be used in the smallest way possible. And we always like to try and find other ways of solving problems than using these restrictive practices. But if they have to be used, then it's really important that they're used in the best way possible for the person.
Okay. Is everybody wondering what these are for? Honestly, specially made for today. We're going to tell you a story afterwards, and every time you hear something that you think is a restriction, paddles in the air, okay? Every time you hear something you don't like, paddles in the air. Doesn't matter what colour you show, okay? So don't worry about the colours. So, for the next month, I am going to come to all of your houses. Okay? Oh, yeah, I'm going to spend the month there. Okay. I am going to tell you when you need to get out of bed. I might even choose your clothes for you. Okay, you guys have got this, that's fine. I'm going to figure out who you're going out with as well and decide if I like them or not. Are they good for you to be around? Yeah, you've got this. If I think you're on social media too much, I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off. Okay. How does that make you feel, thinking of me hanging out in your house for the next month? Oh, Red! Sorry. I'm not really going to do it, honestly.
She's nice.
I am. Mike, back me up. He doesn't mind. Okay. So, thank you. There's always got to be a pantomime villain. So, we're going to tell you a story now. You're going to listen to a story of Alex's life, and this is a day in the life of somebody. So use your paddles well.
A day in my life. Alex woken up at 7 a.m. every day by his carers. Alex would like to sleep in on weekends, but everyone is called at 7 a.m. It's always been like that. It's time for a bath. Alex feels he can bath himself. But carers say they must help him. Alex wishes he could have more privacies. today is like every other day. The carers get Alec's clothes out ready for him. It's always a pair of jeans and a blue shirt. Alex used to only like wearing the clothes blue, but not only, he likes other colours too. For Alex's breakfast, Alex can choose between cereal or toast. Alex would love to have some fruit or yogurt, but there ain't any available. This morning's activity is a group art session at 10 o'clock. Alex likes art, but today he feels like reading instead. However, the timetable is fixed. He has joined the group he enjoys. Painting once he gets started, but he wishes he has a choice to not do things sometimes. Later, when Alex needs to use the toilet, the carers like him to tell him when he needs to go. Alex feels he has to ask for their permission, which is awkward and embarrassing. On the bright side, the carers are always respectful and try to make things as comfortable as possible for him. Alex gets a small amount of money each week, but to buy more expensive things, he has to ask his carer's permission, which is frightening, frustrating. In the afternoon, Alex wants to invite his friends over, but he needs to ask for if he's allowed first. Alex's phone is locked by carers and can only use during the certain times. He misses being able to call his sister whenever he wants. Alex tells his carers he would like to see the new Disney film, but the carers laugh and said he's too old. Alex goes to concert, but has to leave by 10 a.m. because his carers are finishing their shift. Alex is sad by his friends can't stay. At 11 p.m. it's time for Alex's medication. Alex doesn't really know what they are for, but takes it. He feels no one has explained it to him for enough detail. He wishes he could be more involved in discussing about his treatment. When bringing Alex his medication, his carers go into his room without knocking, making him feel like he has no privacy space. He wishes he would respect his privacy more.
So, really good at picking up on it, and that was a typical day in somebody's life. So has that made you think a little bit about some of the restrictions? And we've talked earlier, listening to the guys from Cardiff Day Services, how some restrictions are needed, but not all of them, and it's about questioning those restrictions. At the back on Drive's table, there's some bits of paper, and there's a QR code for people with posh phones who can scan it, and it'll take you through to all the links. Or there's also a list of email addresses, a list of, what's it called? Websites. A list of websites. So they can be typed into your computer if you can do that. But I think the main thing we wanted to kind of explain to everyone today is we all have some restrictions in our lives, don't we? I can't have 6 eclairs for lunch. I can't. You know, I could, but I'm not going to. But sometimes more than we need are put on us. And there's not always a very good reason for that. So it's about making sure that you speak up. You won't always have a paddle, but use your voices, use your signs, use whatever you can to speak up for yourselves, but also for other people around you who may not have the courage, the confidence, or the ability to speak up. Thank you.
Cheers, Dan. Thank you very much to all of you. Now it's break. Now it's time to take a 15-minute break for teas, coffees and snacks. Please visit our exhibitions during the break. After the break, you will need to go directly to your first workshop of the day. A reminder of your workshop choices is in the pack, so please make sure you turn up at the right one. If you are not sure about the workshop or have not booked it yet, please go to reception during the break to get all sorted. We will put the workshops and where they will be up on the screen now. It's been 10 years and you're not big bossing me about. God, that makes a change. Transport, right. Thank you for hijinks for that display. And thank you for the individuals who took part. That was great. Thank you very much. Now we are going to have a look at what has been going on in West Glamorgan with their learning disability strategy and work they have been doing on transport. Please welcome Lindsay, Melanie and Neil.
Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay Hargreaves and I work for West Glamorgan Regional Partnership. I'm here today to tell you about a project that we've been working on for people with learning disabilities and transport. It's not going to be as interesting as hijinks or as interactive because that was brilliant, but we'll try and keep it as interesting as possible. And the reason why we felt like today was a really good conference to come to, as in a day in my life, transport is key to anybody's day in a life. As Jo said when she was acting out the scene earlier, she was late for her appointment because the bus was late. So, you know, it does fit in relevantly. And also, with the conference being held in Swansea today, West Glamorgan Regional Partnership covers Swansea and Neathwood Talbot. Let me just see if this works now. Oh, I also wanted to say that unfortunately Mel couldn't be here today, so it's just me and Neil. So our learning disability transport project that we've been working on is called We Need Transport That Works For Us. So who are we? Who are West Glamorgan Regional Partnership? We bring the health board, the councils, so Swansea Council and Neathwood Talbot Council, the third sector and volunteers together. And it's all about transforming services and improving health and social care services in the area. So under the West Glamorgan Regional Partnership, and I won't go into too much detail about this because this is the boring governance stuff, but we have several programmes like carers programme, dementia, older persons programme, children and young people, and each programme has a programme board which sort of directs the work that we do. So I'm the project manager for the Learning Disability programme, and our sort of outlook is that in West Glamorgan, people with a learning disability have the right to support to make their own choices, to achieve a happy, healthy life that is meaningful to them. They have opportunities to learn, work and actively contribute to their communities. So in our programme board, we decided that we needed a plan. If we were going to make any changes to services, we needed a plan, which is a strategy. So to be able to write that plan or that strategy, we needed to know what people with learning disabilities were facing in Swansea and Neathwood Talbot. What were the barriers? What were the challenges? So we asked Your Voice Advocacy to go out and speak to people with learning disabilities and their parents, their carers, their support networks and staff that work in learning disability services. What was important to them, what matters, and what issues are they facing? So during this time, this 3-month period, people shared their thoughts and feelings at the events. So after we'd finished that, we then did a big event in the Swansea.com stadium, again for people with learning disabilities, carers and staff. We wanted to learn more. We needed to dive a bit deeper into the important topics that were found by Your Voice Advocacy. And we also asked people, well, what should we be doing about them? What should we do next? And how should we approach it? This is stuck. There we are. So we came up with some priorities. So priorities being the things that were most important. And we had transport was important to people with learning disabilities, being able to get the right care and support, my community, lifelong learning, jobs and volunteering, my home, and making my own decisions and having my say. Now that's number 7, but it's not the last one. That is one that runs through all the other priorities. That is very important to the Learning Disability Board, and we have co-production at the heart of everything that we do, and we are constantly trying to we've introduced easy read documentation in all the work that we do with people with learning disabilities, and our volunteers like Neil, they help us with writing those documents and checking them for us. So this strategy or plan was agreed in January 24, and it's been launched and an action plan was created, and the first priority was transport. So in the plan, we said that we would work with travel companies to make them more learning disability aware, and we would work with partners to look at low-cost community transport for people with learning disabilities. But I'll be honest with you, as a regional partnership board who work in health and social care, we didn't know how much influence that we could have on with transport companies, or if anybody would take any notice of us. So we were like, well, as a board, we were like, well, how are we going to approach this? And it was agreed that a task and finish group should be set up to plan the project. So the task and finish group was formed, and we had people with lived experience, parent carers, the third sector, and we also had representatives from Swansea and Neath Talbot Council's transport department who came to some of the meetings to give us support and advice. So these are some of the photos of us in the task and finish group. And what we decided we needed to do was we needed to find out more from people with learning disabilities about their transport experiences, and we needed to plan a workshop where we could invite transport companies and people with learning disabilities to come together and find out more about the transport issues, more about the barriers people with learning disabilities may have, and it would also give transport companies and community transport schemes an opportunity to talk about the support that they might already offer and that people didn't know about. So I'm going to pass over to Neil now, who's just going to tell you, he was on the task and finish group, he's going to tell you a little bit how he found it. Okay? Cool.
My name is Neil Williams. I am a volunteer with West Glamorgan Regional Partnership. I am a board member on the Learning Disability Programme, and I am involved with the Transport Task and Finish Group. The Task and Finish Group include people with learning disabilities, parent, carers and third sector. We also have staff come from Swansea and Neath Port Talbot transport departments come to some of the meetings to give us advice and support. The Task and Finish group was good because it made sure the project and the planning of the transport workshop was co-produced. West Glamorgan made sure that their agendas and the workshop planning template was in easy read. This made it easier for myself and other people with learning disabilities to take part in the meetings. I was involved in the film for the project. I enjoyed that. Next time we'll do a film for a project. We have decided to make sure people with learning disabilities have the questions before so they can prepare their answers. Go.
So in the task and finish group meetings, we decided that we needed to talk to people with learning disabilities about their travel experiences. So we sent out a transport questionnaire, and we went out in Swansea and Neath Talbot through our partners to speak to people with learning disabilities to find out how transport was affecting them across the region. As Neil just said, now in hindsight, we probably would have done it a little bit differently if we were to do a film again, but it did work quite well. So this is some of the issues that we found. Problems with public transport affect people's lives, especially vulnerable people or people with disabilities. Many services have been cancelled. Information about why is not being given in an easy read format. Patience and understanding from people working in bus and train services. We require more support than you think how we feel. Timetables to be easier to read so I know where I'm going. It is important to give vulnerable people who are using public transport priority to get onto a bus. Travel training would make me feel more confident. A call-out system for each stop would be good. Some people miss activities because times are not clear or buses are only running in some places. Buses coming on time would stop me being nervous. And this is just a bit of a snapshot. We spoke to a lot of people, and everybody had something to say about transport, and unfortunately it was mainly the buses that were the problem that people were having. So on the 9th of July this year, we held a transport workshop in Llysnynny, and over 70 people attended the workshop, either in person or on Zoom. And we talked about the transport barriers people with learning disabilities face, like timetables not being an easy read. Transport companies and community transport schemes talked about their services and support already available, and everyone shared ideas on what a good journey would look like to them. I'm going to pass you back to Neil. He's going to say a few words about the workshop.
The transport workshop was really good. There were a lot of people. It was good to see so many people with learning disabilities there talking about the problems they have with transport. Transport for Wales, Dancer, and Abertawe came to hear about people's problems with transport. We also told what would help people with learning disabilities, things like easy read timetables, having more support from staff. I did a presentation with Louise from Your Voice Advocacy on Easy Read. I think people enjoyed it and understood it. It's important. The only disappointing part of the workshop was the first Cymru didn't attend. It would have been good if they had come to hear our problems, as a lot of the problems are when people travel on the bus. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Sorry, I haven't finished yet. And we've got a little bit further to go. So, like Neil said, the transport companies and community transport schemes were there, and we raised awareness of Easy Read and travel training, and the fact that people with learning disabilities may lack confidence and need a little bit more support. Unfortunately, we did get a lot of feedback of negative experiences from transport staff, and this was all brought up in the workshop. And then another thing that we did, when we asked people what a good journey would look like to them, we partnered up with the Community Transport Association, and we have created a learning disability travel charter, which is still in draft format at the moment, but these are, what we did is we took the themes that came in and we changed it into easy read. The task and finish group looked over it. We then sent it out to the attendees who came to the workshop, and I'm at the stage now where I'm meeting with Swansea Council's design team tomorrow, and they're going to put it into, going to make it all look really good. So, but these are the things that came from that charter. So, as in the name of the project, we need transport that works for us. This means buses and trains that are easy to use. Timetables and signs should be clear and simple. We would understand them better if they were an easy read. Bus and train stations should have safe spaces. We need to feel safe when we travel. Staff should be well trained about learning disabilities. Travel would be easier if they know how to help us. We want to be treated with dignity and respect. This is very important to us. If service is poor, we need easy ways to complain. It should not be hard for us to speak up. We need enough space and time to get on and off vehicles. This makes travel easier for us. And I think this is the main point, isn't it? Good transport helps us live better lives. It lets us go where we need to go. So I'm going to play a film now. This is only a very short snippet of the film that we've got. We do have one on our website, which is 13 minutes long, so I didn't want to go through all that today. But it really shows the journey of the project and a lot of the people we spoke to with learning disabilities about their experiences. But I'll just play this now.
Well, I've had some good experiences, but also some not so good experiences. Like when I was on the bus, I've had bus drivers sometimes be very snappy at me, even when I'm wearing the sunflower lanyard and show my bus pass, and they've like told me, oh, hurry up and all that.
I had a bad experience yesterday. I was on my way to work and the bus didn't turn up, so I ended up having to get a taxi to Neath, and so that was my bad experience. That made it even worse and made me a bit late for work as well.
Some of the key points that we picked up today and really useful feedback for us as a public transport operator are things around communication, so how we update customers on our services, how we share that information with people in different ways that makes it accessible and easy to understand. Bus passes, rail passes, making that easier for people to apply for and use and get the most benefit from.
I think it's been really important today to hear the voices of those that have lived experience of learning disabilities. These voices are not often heard. I think the first step is, we've called it a charter, but it's a statement saying that this is the transport I expect as a person with learning disabilities. This is how I expect to be treated on transport, and this is what I want my journey to look like. It should be the best journey for me.
really good and really informative. I liked how it was easy read, and I also liked giving suggestions and helping to fill out the surveys, helping on the stalls, and it was really interesting to talk to all the transport people there and find out some new information.
Really brilliant. There was a lot of good stuff that come out of it, such as easy reads and stuff like that. My presentation went really well. I thought it was good. A lot of people enjoyed it. Well, I only had about an hour to practice, so I managed to pull it off. So that was a challenge for me. I was involved from the task and finish group from the start, and it was co-produced as well, which is good because it gets people involved and people know what's going on.
So since that film, we have moved on slightly, as in we are now working on the transport charter, and we are nearly there with it in the travel charter, with it being finished. But our next steps now are we've got these films, we've got a report, we've got a travel charter, and we want to get that message out there far and wide of, you know, what the experiences people are having while using transport if they've got a learning disability. So we plan to share all this information with the transport companies, the community transport schemes. We're really lucky, you saw Emma in the film there from the Community Transport Association. We've made a good working relationship with her. She's also made recommendations from the workshop on what they feel is important for travel companies to adapt to. And we'd also like to share this with Welsh Government as well. This will also be on our social media and on our website. So if you want any more information about the project or about the Learning Disability Programme or any of the work that we do in West Glamorgan, we do have a stall right by where the registration desk is, not far from there today, and our website and email is on there as well. But if you see us at the stall, we can pass on any information on that there. And thank you, and you can do your thank you bit now.
Thank you for listening.
And can I say thank you for sponsoring Gig Buddies on that note. Thank you, Lindsay and Neil. You now have your second workshop of the day. Once again, the information about your second workshop choice is in your pack. Details of where the workshops will be held will be on the screen behind me now as we speak. And it is. After the workshop, please come back here for the final session of the day.
If you're in A Night in My Life, you need to stay in this room.
I hope you all enjoyed your workshops. And a big diolch to all the workshop leaders today. We are going to have a look at work and employment from the National Centre for Mental Health at Cardiff University. Please welcome Geraint and Andrea. No pressure, Geraint.
This is where everybody been on time, and this is where it goes wrong.
Can anyone hear me at the back? No. Right, I've kind of proved my point. I've got the loudest mouth in Wales, and guess what? I don't care. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Geraint Jones Griffiths. I'm the lead ambassador for the Engage, Change, Influencing, Informing project. My other roles, I'm also the... Sorry, stop it. I'm also the outreach worker for Always People First. And quite recently been appointed as the co-chair for the Community of Practice Behaviour Concern working with Improvement Cymru. So going back to Engage Change, as I mentioned, I am in paid employment. I'm working for both Always People First and Learning Disability Wales. And I've been working with Dr. Lisa Vinya at the back, and also working with Andrea. Dare say a little bit too much, but I just want to go on that road. From the National Centre for Mental Health at Cardiff University, and I am their Honorary Research Associate. This afternoon, we would like to talk to you about the Engage Change project and how it has supported young people with learning disabilities to find employment. We do have to note that this project is not supporting young people anymore, so we are now working to use what we have learned to influence policy and practice, and to speak to young people, parents or carers about employment. This is a really important project that has had a huge impact on my life as a person with autism. Where's the doofer? Oh, marvelous. So, yeah, so this is a little bit now about me. I do have to point out, I don't know if you can see it at the back, I've done a conference in Barcelona. This photo here, if you're going on a roller coaster, some advice, do not wear a tuxedo on a roller coaster, it's not very comfortable. Don't ask, do not ask why. But most of these are taken from Barcelona, and the top one with the portrait, that was taken in Llandudno, I think.
And which theme park was that in?
That was in Barcelona.
In Portaventura.
Oh, there you are.
Where he wouldn't go on the coaster with Elisa and I, but a young Austrian girl came along, and he was on it. He was on that coaster.
In my defence, it was quite a looker.
What are you saying about me and Elisa?
No comment. So between the two jobs, I work 22.5 hours a week with All Wales, 14 hours a week with LDW, and some other bits and bobs I do as well. So in my day-to-day jobs, involves a lot of meeting, quite a few emails generally, trying to get when people decide to talk to me. I do a lot of networking, hence why I do a lot of talking. I attend events like this, and I've chaired several conferences. I've updated blogs, vlogs, and quite recently I've written reports and surveys with regards to research, and presented conferences like this. I do a lot on social media. I tend to moan a lot on social media, I would say, about life and the world and just general crap, really. I'm sometimes in the office, but I like to be out and about. When I'm working, I'm quite antisocial, because if I'm in the office, if I talk to people, my work never gets done. So that's why LDW kind of went, right, now we've come up from lockdown, you're working from home because you don't stop talking to the entire team, so that's why I'm in my own office, in my bedroom, working from home. I've also managed Always People First TikTok channel. So Andrea goes on TikTok. Ooh, nice and bad, I like it. Okay, so with TikTok, I am bonkers, I know, I'm from Swansea, I don't care. So, with TikTok, it's been going on a couple of years. So Always have always been on Facebook and Twitter and all the rest of it, and I said, we need to be on TikTok. And the team were like, oh God, what's he thinking, what's he doing? I said, look, this is a new one, we can engage with members. And they were like, okay, we'll give it a go. Since then, it's gone mad. We had our fest this year, and one of our members from Come Tap People First went viral. He had 22,500 views. And it was literally 2 sentences. I asked him, what does, Darren, who are you? And he said, I love jazz and I love Elvis. And for those 2 things, he got 22,500 views, which is amazing. So what does work mean to me? It means I have a sense of purpose, and I'm hoping I can make a difference with what I do. And I do like to keep busy, as most of the team will tell you. And I also like to be financial independent as well, although I do spend my money on garbage, but that's beside the point. I also learn new skills. I love travelling. I absolutely love travelling. I work all over Wales. I've facilitated a workshop with Elise and Andrea in Barcelona back in June. And because of that, now we've now got a conference on Monday in Manchester, and this is with BASE. So they're the UK National Support and Employment gurus, if you like. And so that's how we're linking with them. Right, next slide. You got the... I feel like I haven't got no gadgets on me. I don't like it. Okay, right. Hands up who's got a phone, tablet, iPad, or something gadgety. Right, if you can scan this QR code. Also in your packs as well, there's a QR code in there. If you could scan this and tell us your dream job. If you haven't got access to a phone, that's fine. Curtis has got some sticky notes and pen, thank you. Or you can shout out to me down the front about what dream job you would like. So it could be absolutely anything. Absolutely anything.
If you'd rather write it down on a sticky note, put your hand up and Curtis will come to you. Curtis. There's one by you. Curtis.
So I'll give you a couple of seconds.
One by you, in the front.
To do this. When you're filling in the QR code, guys, I just want to say, I'm often asked, what would I be doing if I wasn't working? My response is normally, I'd either be playing bowls, darts, or I'd be doing something, you know, mixing with friends and stuff. But for me, being in work, I do love being in work because it gives me purpose and I get a sense of feeling being with people. But there is a fine line to make sure you've got a good social life and a good work balance life as well. So just kind of want to note that as well.
So these two, one is Geraint's and one is mine. Which one? Anybody want to take a guess at what? Which one is which? Mine's that one. Geraint, yeah. So Geraint's one once was that he wanted to be a Rick Astley impersonator. He can't sing.
Oh no,
So.
I really can't sing. I howl. I think that's the clue to get singing. Okay, hands up who's done the QR code. Hands up? Okay, quite a few, but okay. Hands up who hasn't done it yet. Okay, that's okay. Short couple minutes, that's okay.
Okay, is it working? Okay,
There's still a few responses to come through, guys, so that's okay.
do you want to collect some of the paper ones in?
Yeah. So who's written it on paper? Right, then you come over then. Okay, so somebody's put coming to flexible options. Yeah? Marvellous, thank you. Oh, lady at the back. Feeding animals. Okay. What type of animals? Anything? Pets, so anything with 4 legs, is it? Okay. Go on, go with that. Anybody else? Richie? Go on, Anne. What's Richie about?
Doing work with LDW, doing more conferences.
I can create an excellent job today, Reg. Anybody else?
Just to set the standard, we did this in North Wales last week, and one of the responses was cake. You might. Are you going to? And then one of them was sex.
Yeah.
Is that also?
Okay, so we've got a couple. So we've got music therapist, restaurant critic, potter, police officer, making your own business, house husband. Who said that? We've done those 2 or 3 years, we've never had that response ever. Being garage manager. Who the hell said that? Who said that? I'm already my manager. Garage sofa. Who said that? Doggy, that wasn't you, was it? Okay. Good job, though. Garage sofa. Who said that? Come on, guys, don't be quiet. Who said that? Sports journalist, dog trainer for the blind, quite like that one. Festival organizer, somebody from Gig Buddies, I expect.
We put artifact conservation. That's quite like high brow and very.
Okay. Professional gig goer. Kai, was that you? I thought it would be.
That's Sam. Cocktail
taster.
taster.
Sam, is that you? I thought it would be. Detective. Anybody with the name of Sherlock Holmes in the room? No? Okay. Fabulous. Guys, thank you so much for your responses. Although this is a fun activity to do, with this, our work's all about employment for people who have a learning disability or who is autistic, okay? Although this is a fun activity to do, our point here is that very few people who have a learning disability are really asked this question. They are not often asked about employment and the expectations around employment that are lower for them. So it's important to recognise that people with learning disability have the right to work and it should be their choice on what they want to do, okay? People with learning disabilities as well can benefit from paid employment in many, many ways. Not just increased income, but improved health and well-being, learning new skills, wider social groups and friendships. Greater confidence and more control over their lives. Are we giving enough support to people with learning disabilities to think about employment? So that's something for you to think about for the meantime. Andrea.
Okay. So we know, it's really clear that there are lots of barriers to finding and learning and then keeping employment. And the barriers here are all social barriers. They all revolve around kind of society and society barriers. None of these barriers say that people with learning disabilities can't work because they've got a learning disability. And one of the biggest barriers that we come across is that there's actually a really low expectation that people with learning disabilities can work and want to work. So we need to kind of do better work with education and families and services to kind of raise these expectations. So the Engage to Change project, which is the one that we've all worked on, we recognise that better transition support was needed across the whole of Wales. And we know that only 5 in every 100 young people with learning disabilities goes into work. So what are the other 95 out of every 100 doing? What do their lives look like? And we knew that we kind of wanted to balance that out a little bit. So Engage to Change was a 7-year partnership. It worked across the whole of Wales, and here are some of our partners here. The lead partner was Learning Disability Wales, but we had some really nice input from All Wales People First to make sure that we did things right as well. Our project manager is Angela Kenvin, who's over there. She buys the ice creams for Geraint. But, you know, it took a partnership approach to kind of move the figures. Engage to Change was open referral. There was a no wrong door approach. But young people had to be not in education, employment or training to access the project, and we worked with people from 16 to 25 years. And Engage to Change operated with job coaching with supported employment. And supported employment is called supported because it very typically involves job coaching, which is direct support. And it's really important to note that supported employment and employment support are not the same thing. So we hear lots and lots of people talking about they give employment support to people, but that is different to supported employment. In the UK, supported employment is a very specific model, and there are qualifications that job coaches have to work with people with learning disabilities. But when it's done right, it's really successful. So again, you know, one of the biggest barriers that we had was, you know, just getting that kind of expectation and raising that. And in total, we worked with over 1,300 young people across the whole of Wales, and we got about 40 out of every 100 into employment. So we went from 4 or 5 to 40 in every 100 in employment. And that's where we are at the minute. Yeah.
So, we asked young people on the project what support they needed from the job coaches. So here are the top 5 responses that they came back with. The most important ones were that they wanted support to get a job and to prepare for working. Lots of people needed support to learn the job. Sometimes this was learning the work tasks, but also they needed support to learn the social side of work as well. People also told us they needed help to apply for jobs. Forms and job recruitment procedures were and still not accessible. They were not easy read and they were too full of jargon. Have any of you come across that? When you're applying for a job, you're looking at an application form, you just can't follow it. It's like, it's going over my head, going to ditch it, I can't follow it. Job coaching is really important as we're working with the Senedd ministers and teams from Welsh Government to promote a strategy for job coaching here in Wales. If you'd like a copy of the strategy, please come and see us later on. Andrea.
So the project achieved good employment rates, but actually what is a good job for a person with learning disabilities? And the answer to this is really individual. You know, it's all about choice. Each person across the whole of the project who went into employment had their own interests and preferences when it came to employment. And it was really important that we fit the job to the person and not the person to the job. When Elisa and I started this work years and years ago, and before we started Engage to Change, we used to go out and speak to people with learning disabilities, and they would tell us there was a real phase where everybody told us that they wanted to do dog grooming. I have no idea. And it's really interesting to see dog grooming never comes up now on that cloud. But you know, it's about kind of offering people opportunities. And here's some of the jobs that were gained through Engage to Change. And this one at the top is really interesting, any other roles. And when we looked at that, Elisa and I, we were like, oh, we need to categorize that. We need to think about how we make it statistical. You know, as researchers, we like to make things really boring. And we looked at it, but actually then we realized that was really good, any other jobs, because it represented things that we couldn't put into categories, which meant that actually people were having real choice about the jobs that they went into and what they were doing. So we're going to go with any other roles, because actually that's the really positive thing that's come out of this, is that people are supported to get the jobs that they want to do, not just any jobs that are out there.
Thanks, Andrea. People on the project told us that our research should be accessible, not boring journal article papers, which frankly nobody reads them anyway. So we worked with young people to write accessible scripts and film videos to show people what really works within Engage to Change. Here's a short clip, and that we're going to show you now. Well, Simon is rather, thank you. From one of our research feedback videos. This was written and filmed by some of the young people that you'll be seeing here. We found that the Engage Change project offered employment opportunities of significant length to enable young people to be ready for work. Significant means for 6 months or more.
Within the Engage to Change project, 443 young people had a significant experience of a work placement or a supported internship. This is important. It shows that young people need longer placements and experience to enable them to become work ready.
The more experience young people get, the easier it is for them to find a job.
Experience alone is not enough. The support of the job coach in the workplace is helpful for those who need it.
The support of the job coach should be person-centred and based on a person's needs. The support should be individual to help young people develop the right skills for them.
This shows that there is a need for good quality work experience with job coach support while young people are at school and in college, so that we can start thinking about the real opportunities for the future. The research suggests that this alone will lead to better than usual rates of employment for young people with a learning disability if experiences are organised and properly funded.
Significant employment experience of 6 months or more, such as having paid placements and supported internships, gave our highest rate of employment.
In this project, the placements were individually matched to young people in real workplaces doing real work with job coaches support. This is what works.
Colleges are now offering young people supported internships through the new Pathway 4. This means young people spend time in the workplace rather than in the classroom to learn vocational skills. We need to ensure that newly developed Pathway 4 supported internship schemes provided through colleges are of the highest quality and are based on what works.
We believe that young people who have a learning disability or autism need the right job match and the right support, because when this happens, we know how much young people can achieve in the job that they want.
We can work.
We want to work.
Support us to work.
Tom always does his professional.
We found
Tom always does his really professional politician stance at the end of that. So this is about improving the employment rates for people with learning disabilities. And, you know, as professionals in the room, it's about creating opportunities and making sure that there's equality of opportunity for everyone. So including employment in conversations and planning is really, really important. We see lots of things that talk about people's futures, and employment isn't included in it. And we need to change that. You know, for example, we've had several presentations here today and workshops on employment. And a couple of years ago when Elisa and I started, that didn't happen. So it's great to see that this kind of beginning to start to creep in, and, you know, we're talking more about it and better supporting people. All of us have had training in equality and diversity, but in our workplaces, how many of us actually employ people with learning disabilities? And if we don't, what are the barriers in our workplaces to doing that? You know, I think it's something to really think about for all of us as teams and employers. A day in my life should include the choice of whether or not that includes employment or not. And at the minute, you know, we can do better with giving people those choices.
Thanks, Andrea. If you want to know more about what support is available to find work, we have an Engage Change video which was filmed with young people as case studies on the project. The outlines of this was that the different pathways into employment that are currently available here in Wales. We won't play it today, it is quite long, but this is available on the Engage Change website and our YouTube channel, and we have lots more information which we have filmed in an accessible way involving young people from Engage to Change. That's a whistle stop tour from us. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you, Abertawe Swansea. Thank you for having us this afternoon. Thank you, LGW, for inviting us as well. One final thing, please look on our social media platforms, especially Facebook and Twitter, although it's now X, but I will always call it Twitter. And then we have more report materials on there for you to look at. I've been working with the research team to create more accessible resources rather than academic journal papers, so please take a look at them. And lastly, thank you to Learning Disability Wales for inviting us to speak today. Our contact details are here, and if we can help you with anything, then please do see us later on. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Geraint and Andrea. Now we've got David Attenborough in the front. What wildlife are you looking at today? Oh. Before I bring up somebody, as Good Buddies have said, they're going to have a Good Buddy launch in Swansea next Friday, 2025 for the Kai. Yes, I know. Next Friday, with artists like Annie fellow gig buddy volunteer, Guy Challenger, who's a acoustic artist, plays the guitar, a rap artist called Satonji Spirit, a band's called Small Miracles, and the main headline, Adwife. So if you want to come along, get your tickets now. I'm not going to say the other word. I haven't got my 3 people with me. Right, I've done that. I'm getting paid after. Right, can I invite Zoe Richards back? I'm glad it's not flowers. Before, before Zoe comes back on and destroys the place, before you leave, please listen to Zoe and please fill out the elevation forms in the parks and leave them on the table by the door as you leave, so you can come back to the stage now. Diolch yn fawr, pawb. Safe journey home.
Thank you, Richard. Shall we go
You
ahead?
said stay with me.
Thank you for the dance.
It's not the Titanic.
My job is just to say a huge thank you to Richie, who about a month ago expressed an interest in chairing the conference. And I've known Richard for 20 years. We were both about 2, I think, when we met each other.
I was 18 then, you were 25.
Sure, we've known each other a while, so it really was a pleasure for Richie to join us as chair for the conference. And this is just a small gift to say thank you very much for so expertly chairing the conference. It's been a great day. I hope that you've got stuff to take away, things that you've learned, people that you've met, and been inspired by some of the things you've seen today. Some great things have happened today, some awful things as well. Did you see the point there when there was double Geraint in the room? Geraint on the screen and Geraint in person. But please have a safe journey home. And I'm just going to hand over to Jason, who wants to say thank you, Jason. Whilst Jason's on his way up, if you can show your appreciation for Richie as chair, that would be wonderful. Safe journey home, and last words are with Jason. Do you want to come round? Side here.
I want to say, well, I think with all staff, of course, Margaret, Emma, and Debbie. Debbie did a good job. Emma did a good job in last day I went to work and stuff. I would say I got them the bad news. I know this is the sad news, but because of the Mammy's gone, they passed away. The best delivery now because of that. Mammy and my twin. I'm going to say thank you for you. I want to thank you as well. And of course, Margaret is my key worker. And Margaret always adapting me to my organising holiday with Charlie Holiday. And I'm going to say thank you for the gift, for everyone. I'm going to say, well, all the staff up here, and I will say, well, it was a good job. I will thank you for the food, downstairs, second much, and I will say well, I want the staff up here, and well,
And I'm sure you want a safe journey home.
yeah. Wait a minute. I was just to say thank you, right?
Oh, thank you.
And thank you much for the forgive for everyone. And I'll say, it's time to have a coach.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you, Dick.
I will say, before you go, this is a happy house. Because all the staff, all of the work hard, and the Emma's is a good job. The bloody people, like this. And Emma's is a really good job. And I want to say thank you, and you are brilliant. I got to get tonight, help to sell the coffee.
Happiness is a good feeling.